Welcome back. Let's work an example using our model of supply and demand to look backwards and see if we can explain an event we observe. So let's suppose that you're looking at potentially buying a house, right? And you observe that in a neighborhood you are interested in, all of the sudden prices of houses declined. So prices start falling, and you notice that the quantity of houses is increasing. So what's going on here? Usually if you see a lot of homes selling in a neighborhood, your first thought might be, oh gee, this must be a desirable neighborhood that lots of people want to live in. But that doesn't necessarily match up with home prices coming down. So what's going on? So let's see if we can figure this out, right? Why do we observe what we observe? Well, if we think about it in a supply and demand framework, you've got the price of houses, you've got quantity. We'll throw in a supply curve and a demand curve and some initial equilibrium. So we'll call it P sub 1 and Q sub 1. So you're looking at a neighborhood and you see home prices are falling. Okay, how can we think about that in this model? Well, if home prices are falling, we can simply mark that in by saying, well, what was price? And let's decrease price. So we just draw a little arrow pointing down for home prices falling. And quantity is increasing. Okay, so if quantity is increasing, which way is an increase in quantity on this horizontal axis? An increase in quantity is a movement to the right. So if prices fall, we take our equilibrium point and we move it down. And if quantity increases, we take it and we move it to the right. We find out sort of where we are. Okay, how did we end up at this point? Well, it can't be that the demand curve moved. So it's got to be that the supply curve shifted. So our answer to the why has to be that supply has increased. Supply has shifted to the right. More people in that neighborhood are listing their homes for sale, which is driving down the price and increasing the number of sales. So then you get to the part, if you're thinking about buying a home in this neighborhood, of, well, why are prices going down and people selling their homes? So what's the explanation? And that's a little bit tougher to figure out. There could be lots of things driving this, right? It could be a story about schools declining, so people are moving out. So it could be schools declining. It could be like pollution in the water. Maybe there's some story about a chemical being found in the drinking water. So the people who live in that neighborhood who now know about this are selling their homes and moving out. What is going on? So we don't actually know, but at least now you know where to start asking questions. Why are people dumping their homes, driving down price, and increasing quantity? Hopefully you're getting a feel for how we can use our supply and demand model to look backwards to explain events that we've observed and start to unravel the question of what's causing it. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.